Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe. The more subscribers and likes I get, the more my podcast gets presented to more people. So please do that for me. But what a game tonight. The Detroit Pistons, we lost 112 to 106 to the Clippers. The Clippers have been the best team in the NBA since the 1st of December. We go on the road and we are ahead of them. We started out 12 and 0, 12 to 2 run. They started out 12 to 2. They had 12, we had 2. So it looked like we were going to get blown out, and they're playing with 4 Hall of Famers on their team, and we just looked like we were overmatched. But then we just snapped right out of it, and we tied it up 14 to 14. And we were ahead at halftime. We were ahead going into the fourth quarter, and then we hit a drought going into the fourth quarter. So that was tough. We made 14 out of our first 18 shots in the fourth quarter, and that kind of was the deciding factor in the game. But we still hung in there and hung around and still made it come back and started making some shots down the stretch. And yeah, we were ahead. We caught, it was 96-94 after Asar got a dunk, and then things went downhill a little bit after that. So anyway, big story of the game, and again, you might get tired of this, but the Pistons get no respect from the referees. So when we performed them, we killed them. We killed them in the paint. Points in the paint were 68 to 34. We out rebounded them 57 to 35. They got 0 offensive rebounds against us. I've never seen that happen. And yet they shot 25 of 26 on free throws. We shot 7 out of 7. And we're in the paint. We're shooting 68 points we scored in the paint, and took 66 shots in the paint and got 7 foul shots. That is just insane. And, it's just frustrating. Again, it's a lack of respect. And then they get calls, Paul George, he pushes off, and, it's a foul on us, and they take off and get fouled way far back away from the basket, and Harden gets an and one, and somebody goes by him, and he gets 3 free throws, and he didn't have that really good of a game. But anyway, let's talk about our Pistons. I'm excited. We have a team. We got these new guys who have never even practiced with us, and especially Simone Fontecheccio. He 20 points, 9 rebounds in 32 minutes, and he never played with us before. And he said he's excited to be here, and you could tell by the way he played. And Cade was talking to him all the time, and he can do everything. He can drive the ball. He drove it in and dunked it. He passed the ball. But we made lots of great plays. Our team is exciting. The core 4 got to play together, and I'll tell you this: Asar did not have a great game shooting wise. He was 3 for 10 in the first half and took some funky shots and missed them in the first half. And so, but he's got to play, and he does so many other things. He did a lot of good things tonight, but that was just crazy game. But here's the thing: we played 11 players tonight, so Monty's got his work cut out for him. I wish I had more faith in him, because we played 11 guys, and we don't even have the guys from the Knicks that are going to be on our team. And one of the best players, Quentin Grimes, his knee is he injured his knee, so he was out of the lineup for the Knicks for, I think, of like at least 2 weeks. I'm not sure how long, but the quickest he would play would be Tuesday against the Lakers. But I wouldn't hold my breath on that, but I hope he does. So we got a couple days off after this. I am going to have a podcast probably tomorrow, breaking down the trade deadline and going a little bit more in depth. So I really would love it if you would listen to that podcast. I have some insight into some of the guys that we traded for, and we all wanted a little bit more value we wanted a first round pick, but I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. That, nobody got first round picks, hardly. Very few first round picks were traded, and we're going to talk about how, but we got good players. We got good players that fit our team, that can play defense and shoot threes, and it's just really exciting. So I love that Monty, he started Muscala, and I don't see Muscala getting a lot of minutes for us the rest of the season. I know we got excited about him, and he did some good things for us. And he's a smart player, and he can shoot the 3 a little bit, but he played 10 minutes and he was -9. So that was, it's again, sometimes plus minus isn't exactly accurate, but yeah, we led by 13 points at one time in this game. We were ahead 81 to 76 at halftime, and no, at the end of the third quarter, and We had a fast break and made a layup right at the buzzer to put us up 81 to 76. And then, like I said, we started out bad and shooting, and we had to try to fight back. And then Paul George started hitting a bunch of shots. Paul George had 33, and Kawhi had 24, and so they're great players. But we did a good job on them. Like I said, we led most of the game, and we looked good though. I mean, it wasn't just that we just hung in there with them. We had some great plays. There was Ivey and Cade trapped Kawhi in the corner once, and he threw a pass out of the trap, and Asar comes flying up and steals it, and goes to the other end and dunks it. And then right after that, Cade comes down the court and alley oops it to Asar for a dunk. And then like the very next possession, we get a fast break opportunity, and Cade comes down and he throws a bounce pass to Duran for a dunk, and it just was really exciting basketball. At the end of the game, Cade drove right down the middle and through traffic and did a two-hand dunk. Yeah, it was a cool game, and if you're a Piston fan, you got to be excited. And we don't like to lose. Nobody likes to lose. We had won two in a row, but it's very encouraging. I'm not saying that everything's going to happen. I'm going to be really interested to see what happens. We got those games against the Lakers and the Suns back to back on the 13th and 14th, and then we got 8 days off for the All-Star break. So we got our rising stars going. Ivy and Duran, they've been rising right before our eyes, and they're going to be rising stars, and they get to play on the same team on the All-Star weekend. So that's pretty cool. But um, yeah, Ivy threw a lob to Duran for a dunk, and that put us up 77 to 67. That was a cool play. But again, Asar, he played 28 minutes, so I'm proud of Monty. He made, like I said, he took some shots that were ill advised, and he had some turnovers, but because he tried to dribble too much a little bit, and and Duran did that too. Duran, they're experimenting with things, and they're trying to do things, and they just got to be smart, and they've got to learn from their mistakes. But Asar and Duran, Duran is fourth in the NBA in field goal percentage with 65% of his shots making, and then Asor has been shooting really high percentage lately, but they were both 5 for 12 today, so that they 10 for 24 they combined, and they usually are high percentage shooters. But also Duran is fourth in the NBA in rebounds per game with 12 rebounds per game, so he's an impressive young man. Jaden Ivey he's been on fire, and his 3-point shot has been on fire, and he's he had 12 in a row. He had 12 threes in a row, and then he finally missed one. He made a step back three that was really cool today too. So for the last 10 games, the Pistons have been like first in the NBA in threes, and we were always last in the NBA. And so it's exciting. You usually got it. We didn't shoot the three especially good. We did in the first half, but not in the second half today. But anyway, back to Sarr, 28 minutes, 5 for 12, 0 for 2 on threes, 4 offensive rebounds, 8 rebounds total. He had 5 assists, 10 points, and he had some steals. But he took those goofy shots, but he still needs to play, and he still does good things. Muscala, 10 minutes, 0 for 2, 0 points, -9. Duran, 35 minutes, but he 5 for 12 only. So, he struggled. Usually he shoots against such a high percentage, 65% for the whole year. 18 rebounds. So he was the dominant rebounder. And, they have Zubac, but they don't have a lot of size. But he had 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 block. He had an awesome block. The problem with Duran is he's not a quick jumper. He timed it. He has to time it right, but he can get way up. But he did on this block. He got way up and put it in the bleachers. But he had 10 points, and he had 3 turnovers. So, and that's the problem. Now he's really getting competent, or really liking to dribble the ball up the court. And it usually works out. He usually gets it over half court, but his turnovers come after he picks it up. So Cade started out slow, didn't hardly shoot. I don't even know if he hardly scored in the first quarter. He had at least 4 assists in the first quarter. He had 6 assists in the first half. At halftime, I think he had 7 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds at halftime. But he played 35 minutes, 9 for 6, 18, 1 for 3, 3 on threes, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 block, and only 2 turnovers. And that, as much as he handles the ball in those minutes, he was tremendous. So Ivey got to play 36 minutes. So he was 10 for 21 and 2 for 6 on threes, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, which is too many for the amount of times he handles the ball, but he scored 23 points. But here again, so the start of the fourth quarter, Cade missed some shots, and Sarr turned it over, and Ivey hardly touched the ball in the fourth quarter. So he just has to get some touches, and Cade seemed like he tried to do too much, but then down the stretch at the end of the game, Cade made like 5 or 6 baskets in a row, just took it right to him and scored over right through him and over top of him. Didn't get fouled ever, or it wasn't called, I mean, but he took it to him. So uh, Fontecheccio, 32 minutes, 8 for 19. Like I said, 3 for 9 on threes. He's got a good stroke. He's going to be a good shooter. He's been a 38% shooter last year and this year. So he's 1 for 1. He had 9 rebounds. Like I said, 1 assist. But he does a lot of things. He's a smart player. He moves really well. He's big. He's pretty big and strong, but he can push the ball up the court. He passes, smartly. So it's going to be a lot of fun having him. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, about what we're going to do in the future with him. Troy Brown Jr., 19 minutes. So he came out there and he was D'ing up and looked really good. And I think he hit his first 2 threes. And then in the second half, unfortunately, he shot an air ball on a 3, and then he hit the side of the backboard on another 3. And so that didn't look so good. But it's going to be interesting with him. So we got all these guys in this trade, but we can't play everybody. So we played 11 guys today, and there's like 3 guys coming over from the Knicks plus Stu. And so it's just going to be impossible for Monty, and I hope he doesn't try to play too many. I was pleased with the minutes distribution overall. Sarr 28, Duran 35, Cade 35, Ivey 36, Fontecheccio 32. So those are all good. But I'm going to tell you, Grimes is a player, and he's going to need a lot of minutes. So I think Cade and Ivey I'm going to be fine with him getting their minutes cut to 30 or 32 once you see Grimes playing, once he gets rolling. So again, we're going to talk about that tomorrow too. So, but he played 19 minutes, 2 for 5. He just shot threes. He made 2 for 2 on free throws, 2 rebounds, 8 points. Wiseman came in, played really hard, and again, there's a lot of haters, but 13 minutes only, 2 for 4, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist, 4 points. Shake Milton, so he's gonna be the odd man out. I think he's got to be, and he played good. He's been a good player, in his young career. I mean, he's not a great player, but he's been a really good role player, really serviceable. But he only got to play 12 minutes, 2 for 5, 0 for 1 on threes, 1 steal, 4 points. They brought in Amude, and he played hard. He played only 6 minutes. He didn't do anything. He didn't get any stats, but he played hard. And the last game, against Portland, he lit it up. He was, a big reason why we won. But it's going to be hard. You just can't play everybody. You just, you can't try to play a bunch of guys 12 minutes or 9 minutes or 6 minutes or 13 minutes. You're better off playing guys 30 minutes and then some guys 20 minutes, and having guys so they can get in the flow, whatever. But Sasser, I want him to play more. He looked overmatched, especially in the first half. He played 14 minutes. His stats look okay: 2 for 4 and 1 for 2 on threes, and 2 rebounds and 4 assists. Really good. 2 turnovers. So, but he, playing against some better defenders, he struggled a little bit. And sometimes he dribbles too much. He just dribbles. But then against good defenses, he sometimes has a hard time. But I still want him to play. So that's the bottom line. We're in that. We got about 30 games left only now. And we got to maximize the use. We not completely wasted, but we really have not taken advantage of the first 50 games like we should have, the first 52 games. So we have to really be smart. And can we trust Monty? I'm not too optimistic, but again, I think he's catching on a little bit better and getting a little bit better idea. But we shot 44%. They shot 45%. We were 9 for 30 on threes, which isn't great, only 30%. So that was part of our downfall besides the free throw discrepancy. They were 13 for 39, which isn't great, 33%, because I'm sure they're better than that usually. But again, the free throw thing, that was just ridiculous. 7 for 7 for us, 25 for 26 for them. Like I said, we dominated the boards and we dominated the points in the paint, and to not get that. When I was a kid growing up, when I was a little kid, first watching basketball, I had no clue, and I couldn't figure out why when the referee called the foul, sometimes you got to shoot free throws, and sometimes you didn't get to shoot free throws, or why you shot one free throw or why you shot two free throws. I figured it out. When you were in the paint and you got fouled, you got to shoot two shots. Well, that we all know that's not the rule, but that's what I figured out because you do get fouled more when you take the ball to the basket. We were taking the ball to the basket, and to have that discrepancy that kind of helped decide the game. But um, I'm just really excited about this team, and I hope you can watch my podcast about the trade deadline and about what our new assets and going forward. I will be fascinated to see what happens with Monty, and I think there's room for Troy Brown Jr. to play maybe, but not for everybody. There's not room, and hopefully again we start Fontecchio. I hope he starts against the Lakers. So he's certainly not afraid of the moment, and so it was a really exciting game, really encouraging to be a Piston fan. This is what I thought was going to happen before the season. I'm glad that again we can overreact. We lost. I guess you can overreact to that and say, "Oh, same old Pistons." But if you watch the game, especially the first three quarters, you saw a team that wasn't afraid, and I think it's finally the core four get to play together. Finally, they haven't played all year, and then the last few games they've got to play together, and so that's really cool and a really positive thing to see. But anyway, I'm really appreciative of each and every one of you that have listened. Again, subscribe. Please subscribe and like. Be the reason that somebody feels cared for and loved, and go Pistons.